You see America. You see parents who are exhausted but smiling, pushing their babies in strollers. You see 4-H kids proudly standing next to animals they raised with their own hands. You see older couples walking hand in hand, carrying decades of love, heading for their yearly plate of pancakes. This is who we fight for. This is why we became Democrats in the first place. For years, and you've heard me say this, I've kept 2 rituals every single morning. First, I say the Serenity Prayer, which is about accepting the things I cannot change, having the courage to change the things I can, and having the wisdom to know the difference. A simple reminder that we can't control everything, so we should focus on the things we can. And then we should do something. Do something. And second, I remind myself of something of my first boss said to me, my mentor, Senator Paul Wellstone, who was a friend to many in this room. Paul would say, we can remake the world daily. Think about this. Think about how fortunate we all are in this room. We, every single one of you in this room, get to remake the world daily, to improve people's lives, to make change. That's why we do this. And since I started this job, I've added 2 more rituals. I ask 2 more things to myself every single morning. Whose side are we on? And who are we fighting for? You see, when I saw those faces at the fair, those parents, those kids, those neighbors, the answer was simple. We're on their side. We're fighting for them. But fighting means fighting, not hoping, not waiting, not wishing, but fighting, standing up for what's right. Let me ask you this. If we are not willing to fight like hell for what we believe in, then do we really believe in it at all? Ask yourself that. And let me be very clear, if we won't fight now, then when will we? When will we fight? Because in just 7 months, Donald Trump has dragged our country into chaos. 7 months in, and we have the military on American street corners. 7 months in, and families are being torn apart by masked men in the night. 7 months in, and Trump is openly scheming to rig the midterm map and cling to power, plotting his way towards an unconstitutional 3rd term. This is not politics as usual, my friends. This is authoritarianism. It's fascism dressed in a red tie. And we, each of you in this room, and all the Democrats throughout this country, we are the only thing standing in his way. The only thing. So let's talk about why this fight matters, because Trump and his allies aren't just dismantling democracy, they're dismantling people's lives. Families are paying more and getting less. Small businesses, the backbone of our economy, are being crushed. Farmers are being driven off their land. The dollar is weaker. Our debt is soaring. Our credit rating has dropped. And what has Donald Trump done for working families who can't afford groceries or pay their rent? Not a damn thing. In fact, he's made life worse for those families. He's wrecked the economy just to give more tax handouts to the richest people in our country. That's not leadership. That's wrong. And from day one, Donald Trump and these weak, spineless Republican rubber stamps who aid and abet him have attacked construction jobs. They've attacked rural hospitals. They've attacked nursing homes. They've jacked up energy prices, grocery prices, clothing prices, you name it. Heck, even the payoffs to get a meeting with the president are skyrocketing. It's crazy. Yet they lie about it every single day. You remember when Donald Trump said foreign countries would eat the tariff costs? Remember that? Nope. We're the ones paying the price. No amount of lying or spinning can convince a family's checking account of something that's not true. You don't make America great by destroying the economy. You don't make America great by turning the military on communities. And you don't make America great by attempting to erase history. Yes, Donald Trump, guess what, buddy? There was slavery in this country. And yes, Donald Trump, slavery was bad. Something we shouldn't have to say in the United States of America. Crazy. Look, a great Minnesotan, Hubert Humphrey, once said that the moral test of government is how we treat those in the dawn of life, our children, those in the twilight of life, our seniors, and those in the shadows of life, the disabled. I want you to think about that. That's our moral test. On every single measure, this callous, immoral, bankrupt, and soulless administration has failed. Democrats, we measure greatness by how many people have health care, how many families can find child care that doesn't break the bank, how many young couples can get keys to their first home, and how many people with amazing ideas can turn those ideas into businesses that prosper. You see, when Democrats are in charge, economies thrive. The facts on this are very crystal clear. And while we see problems and fix them, Republicans invent problems and make everything worse. So let's be clear, Democrats. It's us, not Donald Trump, who wants America to be great for every person. We are the party of the working class. We are the party of the farmer, the auto worker, the laborer, and the small business. We are the party of workers of every race, age, and background, and we are the party that values safe communities over cheap TV theatrics. You see, unlike Donald Trump, we don't use military as a prop for a failing president. We respect our heroes in uniform. We honor their service and sacrifice. And yes, we want to make sure that every veteran can actually afford a home and get the health care after they've served our country. Now look, here's the thing. After 6 months as chair, I've learned that a lot of people, especially folks in D.C., they think they can change things by winning arguments. You know what winning the argument gets you? Maybe a nice round of applause and a few likes on Instagram. But the reality is it doesn't make life any better for any person. We have to stop for settling on winning arguments with each other. We have to win elections. Look, here's the deal. I've said this before, folks. No one should confuse, in this big tent Democratic Party of ours, no one should confuse unity with unanimity. We are all, in this big tent party of us, we are all unified towards one single goal: to stop Donald Trump and put this country back on track. Yes, we have differences of opinion. Yes, we're a big tent party. Yes, we don't agree on everything. But that's the beauty of this Democratic Party. We are still unified despite our differences. And folks, and guess what? Our unity is going to lead us to winning elections this fall in Pennsylvania, in New Jersey, and Virginia. We're going to elect two incredible leaders in Abigail Spanberger and Mikey Sherrill. We're going to re-elect those Pennsylvania Supreme Court justices, and we're going to fight Trump's attempts to rig the midterm elections on his way and on our way to winning back Congress and state houses and attorney general seats and governors and mayors and counties and municipalities across America. Because we know what it takes, because we've already won this year. 38 special elections. We've won in Wisconsin. We've won in Omaha. We've won in Pennsylvania. We've won in Iowa, in Illinois, and here in Minnesota. We've won in San Antonio. We've won in South Carolina, in Mississippi. We've won in Oklahoma and Virginia. We're winning all across this country, including in many places that haven't gone blue in generations. Now, not all of these elections make national news, but I know that every race matters. Every inch of ground that we gain matters. Every single inch. And what have we done this year to gain that ground? 150 town halls and counting across every state and in Republican districts to reach new voters and bring others back into the fold. Fighting fire with fire in Texas with a massive mobilization effort and working alongside brave Texas Democrats who are standing up and squaring up with Greg Abbott and Donald Trump. Investing unprecedented resources earlier than ever before in state parties to win elections on the ballot this year and beyond. And we are holding Republicans' feet to the fire with a state-of-the-art war room, beating these guys at their own game in the online ecosystem and suing the hell out of them when they come after voting rights and fair elections. Now look, through our Organizing Summer program, we've marshaled tens of thousands of volunteers around the country, and we've trained legions of activists. We're establishing a true coordinated campaign across the ballot, and we're planning for the future. The future, instead of just living in the past, adopting emerging and innovative tech and data tools and engaging coalitions. And as I've said before, we need to get the DNC out of DC. And that's exactly what we've done. That's exactly why I've traveled to 30 states since February. 30 states over the last 6 months. Now look, as I said, let's win the election, folks. I'm not here to win the argument. None of you are. Democrats, make no mistake. A storm is coming. In fact, it's already here. Rising inequality, attacks on democracy, voter suppression, and a fascist regime that doesn't play by the rules. In this moment, complacency is a death sentence. And I know none of you in the room are complacent. We need to fight harder. We need to organize smarter, and we need to make sure that people everywhere, no matter where they live, understand that the Democratic Party is their party. The time to act is now. The time to change is now. The time to win real, lasting, transformative victories is right now. Now look, I refuse to have this DNC be a one-trick, once every 4-year pony only focused on presidential elections. We cannot do that any longer. Today, we're in my state, the state of hockey, the state of Minnesota, and so I feel obliged to share a quote from Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky said, "We've got to skate to where the puck will be, not where the puck is, and sure as hell not where the puck was." We can't wait. We need to build power before this presidential election. The day after the last election was the first day of the 2028 campaign. And at the same time, we are investing in a 10-year majority party vision, a vision to win back government at every level within the next decade. And that's what's different. We can take back our states, our counties, our towns, our legislatures, our courts, our Congress, and yes, our country. Building, working, focusing on creating new majorities every single day. Now look, this Democratic Party is at a watershed moment. We have to be different. We have to innovate. And that's what we're doing. $10 billion. That's how much was spent in 2024. $10 billion just on our side. And yet here we are. No majorities. I get it. People are pissed off. I'm pissed off. And I say if you're not pissed off, then we have a much bigger problem. Right? And sure, look, we can point fingers and cast blame until we're blue in the face. But will that help us win in New Jersey, Virginia, or Pennsylvania? Will that allow us to stop Trump from corrupting the midterms with his redistricting power grab? No way. So again, let's win the election, not the argument. But I want to call us to something right now. I want us to rise above partisanship. Because for years there were values that united us, regardless of ideology, regardless of party. Values that weren't Republican or Democrat, but American values. Values like respect for our Constitution, a belief in the rule of law, a belief in due process and separation of powers, a free and fair press, standing with our allies around the world to protect emerging democracies, and so on. These were core values, foundational to who we are as Americans, foundational to our identity around the world, and the one thing, regardless of party, we could all agree upon. But now we have one side led by a dictator-in-chief who's decided to throw these values into the dustbin of history. And when Joe Biden said in 2020 that this fight was about the soul of the nation, this moment right now was what he was talking about. This is not the fight for Democratic Party or the fight for the Republican Party, but a fight for America and the values that are foundational to who we are and who we should be. And right now I call on all of us to fight for a country that's being attacked from the inside, a country being attacked by an insidious force hell-bent on destroying our American experiment. And are you ready to fight? Yes. I know Texas is always ready for that, right? Right, Texas? Is California ready for that fight? Greg Abbott and Donald Trump wanted a showdown. Well, hell, we gave them that showdown. Texas Republicans may have passed those rigged maps, but we know Trump isn't stopping there. He's given gerrymandering orders to more red states. He's going after mail-in ballots. And the other day, we had a call with Governor Newsom, Senator Booker, and Texas State Representative Nicole Collier. She refused to be surveilled by the state and was being kept as a political prisoner in the Texas Capitol. That's right, a prisoner. This is a duly elected official in the United States of America being kept as a prisoner in the state capitol. And during that call, by the way, during that call, the Republicans came into the bathroom, the only place that Representative Collier could find privacy to take that call, and they threatened her with the felony if she didn't hang up. This is shameful. This is shameful. Now look, folks, I'm sick and tired of this Democratic Party bringing a pencil to a knife fight. We cannot be the only party that plays by the rules anymore. We've got to stand up and fight. We're not going to have a hand tied behind our back anymore. Let's grow a damn spine and get in this fight, Democrats. LFG, that's right. Americans are hungry for leaders. They're hungry for candidates who are on the side of working people. They're hungry for leaders who give a damn about their circumstances, and they're hungry for a government that gives people freedom, not fascism. To every American who is hungry for that kind of government, I invite you to join us. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, I invite you to join us. Together we will fight with every fiber of our being against Trump and his power-hungry circus. I want to end with a few words about my good friend Melissa Hortman. Look, Minnesota. Yeah. In the fall of 2023, I've known Melissa for over half my life, by the way. Outside probably Senator Klobuchar, she's one of my closest friends in Minnesota politics. And in the fall of 2023, we spent a lot of time together campaigning for John Kerry. Melissa had once worked in his Senate office, and I was building out his Minnesota team. On one long drive back from Iowa, she turned to me and she asked if she should try again to run a third time for the State House. She had lost twice before that. We waited back and forth. I gave her my advice. She pushed me on it. But she spoke of Paul Wellstone, who I worked for and was my hero and mentor, whom she admired deeply, not just for his politics, but also for his heart. Paul had died 1 year prior to that in that tragic plane crash in northern Minnesota. And I reminded her of something that Paul said. The future does not belong to the cynic or to those who sit on the sidelines. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams and are change makers. Melissa ran again, and she won. She didn't give up, she didn't stop fighting, and she became one of the greatest change makers Minnesota has ever known. Because of Melissa, and with the one-seat majority, Minnesota passed the most pro-family, pro-worker agenda in America. Paid family and medical leave, the biggest child tax credit in history, free school meals, free college tuition, the largest K-12 investment ever, codifying abortion rights, and so much more. None of it, not one piece of this Minnesota miracle would have happened without her. And so if I can leave you with one thing this morning, let it be something that Melissa knew. Power is fleeting. We never know when we'll have it again. So use your power. Use your power when you have it to make the biggest difference you can for as many people as you can. Remember why you got involved in politics in the first place. Stand up and fight like hell for the things you believe in. Democrats, are you ready to fight? Yeah. Are you ready to take back our country from the wannabe king in the White House? Yeah. Are you ready to organize? Are you ready to organize everywhere? Are you ready to use every lever of power to organize for the future we deserve? Remember this, Democrats, when we organize everywhere, we can win anywhere. Say it with me. When we organize everywhere, we win. Let's fight, let's win, and let's remake the world daily, Democrats. Thank you.